welcome to the Transformers. Economic growth has been the dominant narrative shaping global policy frameworks for centuries. It has lifted millions out of poverty, fueled innovation, and enabled infrastructure development. Yet, growth is not an end in itself, it is a means to achieve prosperity, equity, and sustainability. Historically, growth centric models have delivered prosperity but have also exacerbated inequality, degraded the environment, and strained limited resources. This video explores in extensive detail why an economy cannot grow forever, covering the philosophical, structural, and practical limitations. It delves into global and Indian contexts, provides diverse theoretical perspectives, and concludes with actionable lessons for India, with insights derived from global institutions like the World Bank, IMF, and OECD. This video aims to present a holistic understanding for UPSC aspirants and policy enthusiasts. Section 1st, the fundamentals of economic growth. Economic growth is traditionally defined as the increase in the value of goods and services produced within an economy over time, often measured through gross domestic product (GDP). But growth has broader implications influencing employment, innovation, and societal progress. Historical evolution of growth models. Mercantilism, 16th to 18th century, early economic theories linked national wealth to the accumulation of gold and control of trade routes. European powers colonized vast territories to expand their economic footprint. Industrial Revolution, 1760 to 1840. Technological advancements fueled growth in manufacturing and urbanization. GDP growth rates during this period averaged 2 to 3% annually in Europe. Post World War II Keynesian era, government intervention and public spending underpinned rapid growth in the US and Europe, often exceeding 5% annually. The neoliberal shift, 1980s, policies promoting deregulation, privatization, and globalization accelerated growth but widened inequality. Section 2nd, reasons why economies cannot grow forever. Resource exhaustion and planetary boundaries. Economic activities are heavily dependent on natural resources, many of which are finite. According to the World Resources Institute, humans consume 1.7 times the Earth's regenerative capacity annually, a phenomenon termed as Earth overshoot. Energy crisis. Fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas remain the backbone of modern economies. However, as per BP Statistical Review of World Energy 2023, current reserves are depleting rapidly. The IEA, International Energy Agency, warns that at current consumption rates, the world will exhaust proven oil reserves by 2070. Agricultural land degradation. The UNFAO estimates that 33% of the world arable land has been degraded due to deforestation, monoculture practices, and overuse of chemical fertilizers. In India, according to Niti Aayog, 96 million hectares of land face desertification, directly impacting agricultural output and livelihoods. Water scarcity. According to the World Bank, global water demand will outstrip supply by 40% by 2030. India, with 70% of world's population but only 4% of freshwater resources, faces acute water crisis in regions like Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. Environmental degradation. Economic expansion often comes at the expense of ecosystems. Industrialization, urbanization, and deforestation have led to severe environmental consequences. Global impact. According to United Nations Environment Program, over 7 million people die annually due to air pollution. The International Panel for Climate Change's sixth assessment report highlights that global warming could exceed 2 degrees Celsius by 2050 with catastrophic consequences for agriculture, health, and biodiversity. India specific impacts. India is the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases, contributing 7% of global emissions. Extreme weather events like floods, cyclones, and droughts have increased in frequency. For instance, the Kedarnath floods of 2013 caused over rupees 3,000 crore in damages. 2.3 Demographic pressures. Aging populations globally. Developed nations like Japan, Italy, and Germany face shrinking workforces by 2050. Even org projects that one third of Japan's population will over 65. This demographic shift reduces consumption and increases healthcare burdens. India's young workforce. India has a demographic advantage with over 65% of its population below 35. However, unemployment remains a challenge with the CMIE 2023 reporting an unemployment rate of 7.8%. Technological disruption and job losses. Technological innovation drives productivity but also renders jobs obsolete. World Economic Forum estimates that by 2030, automation could displace 85 million jobs globally. In India, sectors like agriculture, which employ 41% of the workforce, face significant risks due to mechanization. Section 3. Theoretical framework explaining growth limitations. The Limits to Growth, 1972. This seminal study by the Club of Rome used computer simulations to show how unchecked growth would lead to resource depletion, environmental collapse, and economic stagnation. Donut economics. Kate Rao's donut economy model emphasizes balancing economic needs with ecological boundaries. It argues for a shift from GDP-centric growth to sustainable development. Solo Swan Growth Model. This model explains how diminishing returns to capital and labor eventually slow growth unless sustained by technological progress. Section 4. Global Case Studies. Japan's lost decades. Following a massive asset bubble burst in the 1990s, Japan's growth has stagnated for over 2 decades. Public debt surged to 60% of GDP, the highest among OECD countries. China's slowdown. China's rapid industrialization lifted 800 million people out of poverty. However, growth has slowed to below 5% due to rising debt and aging population. Nordic model. Countries like Norway and Sweden emphasize sustainability and equity wealth distribution. They invest heavily in green technologies, maintaining high HDI scores despite moderate growth. Section 5. Lessons for India. Transition to renewable energy. India has set a target of 500 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity by 2030. However, achieving this will require annual investment of $30 billion according to IRENA, that is India Renewable Energy Agency. Tackle inequality. India's Gini coefficient, a measure of inequality, stands at 0.35, indicating moderate disparity. Policies like progressive taxation and universal basic income could address wealth concentration. Focus on social indicators. India ranks 132 out of 191 countries on the UN Human Development Index. Investing in health and education can yield long-term economic benefits. Section 6 Conclusion. Perpetual growth is a myth. Economics must prioritize sustainability, equity, and resilience over blind GDP expansion. India, with its vast resources and demographic potential, stands at a crossroads. By embracing inclusive and sustainable policies, it can avoid the pitfalls of unsustainable growth and emerge as a global leader. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and share the video and subscribe the channel.